You've learned to carry everything yourself. You don't ask for help, even when you're drowning. You say you're fine when you're falling apart, and people admire you for it. They call you strong, independent, self-sufficient. But here's what's actually happening. You've become so good at not needing people that you've started to wonder if you're even capable of it anymore. And honestly, that probably scares you more than you'd admit. Look, you're not broken. You're not emotionally unavailable or incapable of connection. What everyone sees as independence is actually protection. Your brain learned something a long time ago that needing people can be dangerous, so it built walls, high ones. And now, even you've forgotten they're there. So let me explain what's really going on. Hyperindependence isn't a personality trait, it's a survival skill. At some point in your life, you learn that people leave, they forget, they disappoint, they promise to show up, and then they don't. So your nervous system made a decision. If needing people hurts this much, just stop needing them. And it worked. You became the person who handles everything alone, who never asks, who never expects anything. You became safe. But that safety, it came with a cost. Because when you're young, and the people who are supposed to catch you don't, your brain doesn't think they failed me. It thinks I must not be worth catching. So you stop reaching out. You stop asking. You learn to solve your own problems, soothe your own pain, celebrate your own victories in complete silence. And over time, this becomes who you are. You're the strong one, the reliable one, the one who doesn't need anyone. And people love you for it, until they realize they can't actually get close to you, until they realize you've built a life where no one is truly necessary. And here's the really painful part. You start to believe you're better off this way. Think about it. You're the person who plans every detail of their life, so they never have to depend on anyone else's schedule. You're the friend who's always offering help, but never, ever asks for it. You're the partner who says, "I've got it," even when you're completely exhausted. On the surface, this looks like strength. But underneath, it's fear. Fear that if you need someone, they'll see how much space you actually take up. Fear that your needs are too much, too heavy, too inconvenient. So you shrink them down until they basically disappear. Your brain learned that independence equals survival. And honestly, it was right. When you were younger, when people weren't reliable, when love felt conditional, not needing anyone kept you intact. It kept you from breaking every single time someone let you down. But now, that same protection is keeping you lonely. Because your brain doesn't really distinguish between then and now. It just remembers, needing people hurt once, so don't need them again. But here's the part nobody tells you. The more independent you become, the more you start to wonder if connection is even possible for you anymore. Because it's not just that you don't ask for help, it's that you don't even know how anymore. That ability, it atrophied. You see other people lean on each other naturally, effortlessly, and you feel like you're watching someone speak a language you used to know, but completely forgot. And the loneliest part? You did this to yourself. You built this cage, and now you're stuck inside it. You can see it in the way you respond when someone offers support. They say, "Let me help you," and your whole body tenses up. You say, "I'm fine," before they even finish their sentence. Not because you don't want the help, but because accepting it feels like admitting you're not enough on your own. Like cracking open a door you've spent years barricading shut. And what if you let them in and they leave? What if you finally allow yourself to need someone and they prove your worst fear right, that you were only safe when you needed absolutely no one? And this is where it gets really interesting. Because your brain doesn't just protect you from needing others, it protects you from even wanting to need them. It rewires your entire identity so completely that independence stops being a strategy and starts being who you are. You don't just act like you don't need anyone. You genuinely believe it. You convince yourself that solitude is a preference, not protection, that you're just built differently. That connection is for other people, not for you. And listen, if this is resonating with you right now, if you're realizing you've been carrying this pattern for years, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Because we're going to keep exploring these hidden patterns that shape how we connect, how we protect ourselves, and why we do the things we do. You're not alone in this, and understanding it is the first step to changing it. The way this shows up changes as you age, but the core stays exactly the same. When you're younger, hyper-independence looks like resilience. You handle breakups alone. You move to new cities without help. You build a life with your own two hands, and people celebrate you for it. But as you get older, it starts to feel different. You watch your friends build families, create support systems, ask for help without any shame, and you realize you've been running a race that no one else is even running. You realize that the walls you built to protect yourself are now the exact thing keeping you from the connection you're actually starving for. And the hardest part? You don't know who you'd even be without them. Because hyper-independence isn't just a behavior, it's your identity. It's the story you've told yourself about who you are. The strong one. The one who doesn't need saving. The one who's always fine. And if you stop being that person, then who are you? If you admit you need people, does that mean you were weak all along? Does it mean everything you endured was for nothing? No. It means you survived. It means your brain did exactly what it needed to do to keep you safe. And now, maybe, you're finally in a place where you don't need to just survive anymore, where you can actually start learning to live. Here's what's really happening when you act like you don't need anyone. Your nervous system is trying to regulate itself. It's creating predictability in a world that once felt completely chaotic. It's giving you control when you once had none. Needing no one means no one can hurt you. It means no disappointment, no betrayal, no abandonment. It means you are the only variable in your own life, and that feels safer than anything else ever has. It's like living in a room with no windows. You can't see out, but nothing can get in either. And for a long time, that room felt like home. It was small, sure, but it was yours. It was lonely, but it was safe. And when you've lived without safety for long enough, it becomes the most important thing in the world. But at some point, you start to notice just how small that room really is. You're not broken for being this way. You're not cold or incapable of love. You're someone who learned that people are unreliable and you adapted. You built a life where you alone are enough because no one else proved they could be. And that took incredible strength. But strength and safety aren't the same thing as connection. And maybe, just maybe, the reason this hurts so much right now is because some part of you already knows that. You don't have to tear down all the walls overnight. You don't have to become someone completely unrecognizable. But you can start to notice them. You can start to see hyper-independence for what it actually is. Not a flaw in your character, but a response to what you experienced. Not who you are at your core, but what you learned to survive. And you can hold space for the possibility that needing people doesn't make you weak. It just makes you human. You've spent so long protecting yourself that you forgot what you were even protecting. But it's still there. That part of you that wants to be seen, to be held, to actually be known. The part that's exhausted from carrying everything alone. It didn't disappear. You just buried it so deep you thought it was gone forever. But it's not gone. It's just waiting. And maybe, for right now, that's enough. If this video helped you understand yourself a little better today, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Someone who's been carrying everything alone and doesn't even realize it anymore. And let me know in the comments, what's one thing you refuse to ask for help with, even when you desperately need it? I read every single comment, and sometimes just naming it out loud is where the healing starts. I'll see you in the next one.